welcome back to Silver Flames Library. My name is Sam, and today we are doing a book haul. I'm going to be showing you the books that I recently bought, tell you why they piqued my interest and why I decided to buy them. I say recently bought because it's been maybe a couple weeks, but they've just been sitting here, so I figured I'd share with you the books that I bought. I will say, when I go to the bookstore, I can literally spend all day in there though. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I'll do like one lap around the store where I'm just kind of glancing, not really go through all the aisles that I normally go down, like fantasy, romance, young adult, just kind of do a general lap, and then the second lap I'll go back and maybe pick up books that have been on my radar or just books that I've been looking to buy or anything, you know, speaks to me. I'll go ahead and pick it up and see if it's something I'm interested in. And then like the third lap and any other laps after that I do are kind of like, I'll see if I miss anything, because I don't know about you, but anytime I go into a bookstore I have to do multiple laps because I miss things like the first couple go arounds, and then I'll see more, so I'm able to see more variety, because it's hard to look for books that you want to read because you're just glancing, doing in general. I gotta do like multiple laps around the store. Okay, I have 6 books to show you guys in this video. As someone who doesn't really live in a densely populated area, we do have some local bookstores, maybe a couple, not very many, so I do go to Barnes & Noble a lot. Closest one being an hour away, but one of these books, I went to Barnes & Noble, which was a little bit further than the hour away because I specifically wanted this cover of the book, even though the closer Barnes & Noble didn't have it anyway, but this one did, so that's why I went all the way over there. I have some books from the Barnes & Noble I normally go to, and then the local bookstore that is local to me. Alright, now let me get into the books that I'm going to be showing you today that I recently bought, because this is a book haul video and that's what we're going to be doing. The first 2 I'll show you will be the ones that I got from my local bookstore. First one being The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Now, I've read one of her books before, Firefly Lane, a couple years ago, and I actually really enjoyed it. It wasn't really something I would see myself picking up because I think it's just like a fiction novel. Fell in love with the story. I loved it. Like every time I think back on it, I was like, wow, that's actually a really good book. This one is historical fiction and I've heard great things about it. I've heard it's a very heartbreaking story, and apparently it's going to be made into a movie. Of course, I have to read the book first. It's a story about 2 sisters during World War II. I am one that likes to go into books mainly blind, so sometimes I will read the whole synopsis on the back. I do love a historical fiction novel. I haven't really read too many, but I do like them. So knowing that I've liked one of her books before, I have high expectations for this one. And then the other book that I got at my local bookstore was All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. Also, another historical fiction novel was turned into a short series on Netflix that I have not watched because I have to read the book first, you know. This is also set when the Nazis occupy France, more specifically Paris. Also heard a lot of really good things about this book, historical fiction. I've really wanted to dive more into historical fiction. It's just very interesting to me to see just like the stories. It's another kind of way to see how life could have been happening in these times, because obviously I was not alive. I'll read you the first paragraph of the synopsis so you can kind of get an understanding, even though I'm sure that you've seen this book literally everywhere. Marie-Laure Leblanc lives with her father in Paris near the Museum of Natural History where he works. When she is 12, the Nazis occupy Paris and father and daughter flee to the walled citadel of Saint Malo, where Marie-Laure's the reclusive great uncle lives in a tall house by the sea. With them, they carry what might be the museum's most valuable and dangerous jewel. Okay, I lied to you, I'm gonna read more. In a miming town in Germany, Werner Pfennig, an orphan, grows up with his younger sister. Enchanted by a crude radio they find that brings them news and stories from places they have never seen or imagined. Werner becomes an expert at building and fixing these crucial new instruments and is enlisted to use his talent to track down the resistance. Marie-Laure and Werner, from warring countries, both have lost many of the people they loved, come together in Saint Malo as Doerr illuminates the ways against all odds people try to be good to one another. This actually sounds really interesting. So actually thinking of doing like a reading vlog type thing where I read historical fiction and have this book, The Nightingale, and there's another historical fiction book that I've had on my TBR for a while. I think it's called Sisters of the Resistance. Don't remember who the author is, but I can put a picture of it on screen. I do want to read this. Over 500 pages long. I do want to watch the Netflix show that they did because that looks really interesting. I kind of saw like a bit of the trailer. All the Light We Cannot See. And I'm so sorry if I like butchered any of the names. These next 2 books are the books that I got when I went to the Barnes & Noble. That's an hour and a half for me instead of an hour. Next up, we've got From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. Do I need to say more? No, not really. Romance book, I'm assuming slow burn since most of her books are, I think. I could be wrong. I've only read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me actually really recently, and I really enjoyed that. And I wanted to get my hands on this book just in case they decided to republish it or come out with a different cover, because I absolutely adore this cover. I don't know what it is. I do know that the main female character, she's a figure skater, and I was never a figure skater, but I do love to ice skate. I am more of a hockey fan. I have a pair of hockey skates, and I could skate okay. It's been a while since I've been. I'm not a professional skater by any means, but I just have fun doing it, okay? I'm gonna read you the back of this one, okay? If someone were to ask Jasmine Santos to describe the last few years of her life with a single word, it would definitely be a 4-letter one. After 17 years and countless broken bones and broken promises, she knows her window to compete in figure skating is coming to a close. But when the offer of a lifetime comes in from an arrogant idiot she spent the last decade dreaming about pushing in the way of a moving bus, Jasmine might have to reconsider everything, including Ivan Lukov. I don't know if he ice skates as well. I'm so excited to read this. This one I think is also just over 500 pages. We've got our work cut out for us. This is the book that I specifically went to this specific Barnes & Noble for. I've seen one other person talk about this book, and the cover of it, I don't know, it's just something I needed in my life. That's kind of funny because that kind of ties into the title. Anyway, I've seen Ian talk about this book. He makes booktube content as well as his wife. I found him through his wife, Ashlyn. Ashlyn makes booktube content, and then her husband also makes booktube content. I will link their channels below. I like watching both of them. I get book recommendations from both of them. Anyway, this book is Needful Things by Stephen King. I am a fan of Stephen King. I haven't read too many of his books. I mean, everybody knows who Stephen King is. This is called Needful Things. This book, it takes place in Castle Rock, Maine, and there's this new oddity shop that opens up, and the owner, Leland Gaunt is his name, and he opens up this oddity shop, and he seems to have something for everyone. I love the cover of it. It's just my vibe. This just sounds like something I would read, which is funny because I have another Stephen King book sitting on my shelf that I have not finished. I read maybe like half of it and just didn't finish it. I didn't DNF it. I just put it down and didn't pick it back up again. Like, it was interesting, and I just don't know what happened. So I'm gonna have to restart that at some point because I don't remember a whole lot from it. It's Dreamcatcher by Stephen King. Hold on, let me go grab it because that cover is also really pretty. Dreamcatcher. As you can see, there's a bookmark still in it. I read 342 pages of this and did not finish it. I want to. Look at how pretty the cover is though. And then compared to some of the things in this book. So there's this scene in this book that I remember vividly. I will probably remember this for the rest of my life. There's this scene where there's this creature or there's this something that's at this cabin that they're in, and the way that it is described, I literally got goosebumps. It was creeping me the hell out. Normally I don't get like that with books. It takes a lot for me to be a little like creeped out, but this got me, and I'm sure there's gonna be more. I need to go back and finish this. But like, look at these covers together. This one looks all happy and this one looks just ominous, even though there's nothing really happy that's going on in this book. But they just like, that looks so good together. This matches. They're different colors, same font. That's cool. And there's still like, they just look so good together. Like, look at that. Anyway, now these last two I got at the Barnes & Noble that's closest to me. I went to Barnes & Noble because I needed to buy the last book in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, so I bought this book. And of course I had to leave the store with 2 more books. I saw Destiny talk about this book when she went to Barnes because she picked it up and I was like, oh, the cover, that looks really cool. Yes, I am easily influenced by the cover of books if they're pretty, and then if I read the summary and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting, I'll maybe pick it up. This book was on my radar, put it on my just want to read on Goodreads, and then didn't think about it again, and then I was doing, you know, one of my 8 million laps at Barnes & Noble, and then I saw it sitting on the shelf, and I was like, I just need to buy this. So it's How I'll Kill You by Ren DiStefano. Like, look at this cover. It's like a box of candies and like skulls, and it's pink. Like, normally I'm not really the biggest fan of pink. I'm more of a purple. Like, purple's my favorite color, but like, this just looks like something I would read. Oh, I didn't even notice her nail polish is like, there's like blood dripping on that. Like, that's actually really cool. This is a thriller, as you can probably assume by the title. What got me is that it's about these 3 identical triplets that have a knack for killing their boyfriends. I don't know what it is about murder and love that just mixed together for me. Like, Butcher and Blackbird, just, I love that book. I don't know, I'm excited to read this. It seems like a pretty shortish read. It's less than 400 pages. 335 pages. This seems like something that I can just read in a day if I really wanted to, if I like got into it, but this is very high on my expectations. Literally all these books I have high expectations for. Okay, now this last book, right? Hear me out. One of my many laps walking around the store, and I happen to be in the fantasy section. Of course, I'm always in the fantasy section. And normally I just kind of, I don't know why I do this, but normally when I'm looking, I look at the top shelf, I'll look at eye level, and then there's another one, and then there's one at the bottom. And I normally don't look at the one at the bottom just because, I don't know, sometimes I just don't like to bend down. I don't know what it is, but I don't. Well, I happen to look down, and I see this book, 50 Beasts to Break Your Heart by Jenna Rose Nethercott. This name, I don't know if it's her actual name or a pen name, but it just sounds so cozy. Like, just the author, not even the name of the book, like the name of the author just sounds so cozy. Like she would just be in a little cottage in the woods, cozied up with a book, like tea, like fire burning in the fireplace. I don't know, that's just a weird assumption, but that's just what I think of. But I saw this cover and I was like, this is the cutest cover ever, and this totally just matches my vibe. I know, like, my bookshelf, you cannot tell, but look at this. Look at the little flower with the skull, and then the little owl, and then like the teeth there, the moon, and the wolf, and then it's just so cute. As I was looking at this, I realized it's a collection of short stories. Normally I don't reach for short stories, but I cannot leave this on the shelf. Okay, this was too cute. This had to come home with me. It even continues like on the back. Like, isn't that so cute? I had to, oh yeah, and there's illustrations in here too, and there's it's so cute. Okay, so I was like just totally raving about this book, right? And I was like, oh my god, this looks so cute, like I'm gonna have so much fun reading this. Well, as I was just kind of putting things together for this video, literally on the Goodreads blurb it said dark fairy tales and fractured folklore. So again, it's a collection of short stories, but the last little sentence of this, it says, Jenna Rose Nethercott's collection of lush, strange fairy tales will redefine what you see as a beast and make you beg to have your heart broken. Like, come on now. Is this something I would read? Yes, absolutely, which is why I bought it. Am I talking in circles? Probably. Again, I'm not one for short stories, but this might change my mind. Let's see how many short stories are in here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 short stories in here. So the title of this book, 50 Beasts to Break Your Heart, is actually the name of one of the short stories in here. So anyway, these are all the books that I have bought recently, and I'm so excited to get to read at some point. My existing TBR is looking at me like, really, you went and bought more books? But look, some of these I've been wanting to read for a while, and I just happened to go to the store. We have a whole mix of things. We got romance, we've got thriller, we've got historical fiction. I don't know if you would consider this horror or not, because I know Stephen King is most known for his horror novels, but not all of them are horror novels. Anyway, I am so excited to get to these books at some point. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Yeah, that is all the books I have to share with you in today's video, and I guess I will see you in my next video. Bye!